All right, welcome to Friday night hangout. Let me do my thing here. Let's see. We got to go here and studio. And let's see, 663. Yeah, we got people bouncing all around. All right, so we turn this on. Save. We got to have the
Who are
chat.
you talking to, Sparky?
Hey, what's up? I'm getting this thing ready to go. Save.
Gonna have the Blues game on in the background?
You can have it on as long as there's no sound.
I asked if you were gonna have it on in the background.
Oh, I don't think so.
How can you resist?
It's pretty simple.
Can you hear it right now?
There's Gary. I cannot hear it right now. No.
Okay. It's on, and this Zoom has kind of like a background noise canceling feature,
Yeah.
and I guess I picked the right level.
Got my calendar today, Gary, but
Good.
you made one little error.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
It says 2023 I-beam. I built that this year. I built this one, Simply Blues, and that one this year. That's all right.
Oh, okay.
they're gonna dock your pay, Gary.
I know.
Yeah, I believe I built 4 regular size stunners this year so far. That's all right.
Are you planning on flying tomorrow?
What?
Are you planning on flying with Steve tomorrow?
If it's 70 degrees, I will.
Did you get yours, Steve?
No. Did you send me one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't got anything.
Well, it's slow in your area then, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, send them all at the same time.
Oh. Are you watching the Blues hockey game, Gary?
No.
No, nobody's a
I'm teasing
knucklehead
on
except
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my gym teacher called me hockey puck in high school.
You should be getting it then. Golly.
Kind of wonder when I'm going to get my kit that I bought from Tom Dixon.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm not going to, I guess I take it out of the box and look at it and then go, damn, I shouldn't have done that. I can't figure out how to get it all back in this box. Can never get the kits back in there the way they pack them from the factory. Sparky, do you know it? Does Brodak package their own kits up?
Brodak does everything right there. They cut it.
Oh, really?
They
I
make
didn't know that.
they make the box. They print the label. They print
Wow.
the plans. They do everything right there.
We're having a very good hair night here. I have to go get some gel or something.
Wonder if Denny's ever going to come back on.
Well, I'm sure he will at some point. After the old holidays die down.
Hope some more comes on tonight.
Surprised he hadn't chimed into that fight about should you use Spectre or steel lines.
Who did?
I said, I'm surprised he hasn't chimed in. Denny. He's kind of the resident authority on those Spectra lines, I think.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
There's something about flying on fishing line that it doesn't appease me. So there's
Evening,
Steve
gentlemen.
Smith. It's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow.
58.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. You get your
Can't
calendar,
tell
Steve.
me- You can't tell me that old Dan McEntee's hardier than you are. If he'd get out there, then
Oh yeah.
certainly you can handle it. Were you asking me something, Gary?
I was asking the other Steve if he got his calendar.
Oh,
No, I haven't yet.
No, you're okay. Sparky got his. So yours is coming.
All right, 56 at noon, 3-mile-an-hour winds. Don't get any better than that in December.
Well, I'm using a couple drops of your glue,
Oh my God, really?
except it won't come out of the bottle.
Of course not. It's been sitting there for weeks.
Yeah, it's probably gone bad.
Oh, I
I
hope not.
noticed Dan Winship builds with glue that looks like it matches the label on your kicker, Sparky, from that aerosol kicker you have.
Yeah, it is.
Dan's got glue with that same label on it.
Yeah, I used to buy it too.
Yeah, same
Okay.
brand. Yeah, 2P10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I actually get aerosol kicker up at Schaefer's. I got to ask them for it special, but I've been using that Bob Smith kicker, but in an aerosol can for a long time. I like.
Yeah, but if you buy 2P10 for $20, you get, was it 1 or 2 cans?
I think it's
I
two
don't know. My
cans.
cousin, you must get two because I know my cousin gave me a can of it last year for help. I helped him move something. He's
And
like,
that's a
"Here."
pretty big can. This will last a year.
It doesn't smell as good as the Bob Smith stuff does, though.
Yeah.
And I'm all about
Right.
huffing it. When you live by yourself, you got to get your kicks where you can. You know,
I guess.
sometimes you got to huff your kicker, and
I think we're
Steve,
going to have this hangout once a week after the first of the year. Which day's the best for everybody?
Monday would be the best for me. There it is, 2P10. So for $20.99, you get a can of activator and a 2.25 ounce thick. Let me scroll down, see if they got the two. There's the 2 cans. $37 now.
I don't ever buy big bottles of glue. I like it to be new.
No, this is the kicker, the activator.
Oh, I thought you said a can of activator and then something else, which I thought was the glue.
Yeah, that's another. If you can get 1 can activator and 1 2.25 ounce thick CA, or you for $20.99, or you can get 2 cans of kicker for $37.99. You get a 5-pack for $77. And 1 can for $28.99. It's all over the place. That's on Amazon.
1-0.
What's that?
Don't you have the Blues game on in the background?
No.
Oh, Nashville. Blues are playing Nashville.
There we go.
So I've only heard from Dan so far on my let's go flying tomorrow. Dan says he'll make a decision in the morning.
So that means he ain't coming.
check with Fred because it's a Saturday.
Mark had a picture of him out flying,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he wasn't flying the Tucker. What's up with that?
I don't know. Well, I guess he didn't want to bring it out in the crappy weather. Did you get that to flow yet?
No, I'm still working on that.
Oh, you got to get a new nozzle on it.
There we go. This is the thick stuff.
Oh, what are you using it on? The Pilot?
No, I'm using it on the fillets here.
Oh, the fillet. The what'd you call those?
The chines, the forward.
Chines or yeah, the fairings are the other things. Those are
Yeah.
That sounds like
so
a boat.
you cut bigger ones for the wing, right?
Yeah. Ah, you bitch.
It moved.
Yeah.
Thought maybe your cousin might go out, Steve.
No, I guess they're leaving town next week. He claims he's got stuff to do. Or he
Oh,
gets, knowing him to come by and watch for a minute, but in terms of actually getting all his stuff out there, he's got stuff to do before he gets ready to go out of town. So
okay.
I don't know if that's an upper managerial conflict that he has. As he jokingly calls his wife his upper management.
Yeah.
I asked him about that. I think when I asked him, actually, you said last week you were thinking it was going to be Sunday that was the good day, I think.
They got changed.
Either way, he's got, I think, chores to do before they leave town. They still have lots of business that they do, down in Louisville, doctors and stuff like that.
Oh,
They prefer them, so they travel back to get stuff done every once in a while.
I see. It's gonna rain overnight, Saturday night, but Sunday's 10 to 15 mile an hour winds.
Temperature.
53 on Sunday.
It
56.
don't sound like I'm flying till spring.
56 on tomorrow.
It's still cold as hell because it's damp.
Yeah, it'll be damp, that's for sure. Very cloudy too, so no sun.
Shit today, shit tomorrow.
What kind of shape is the asphalt in out there? Is it cleaned off now?
Well, from the picture that Mark sent, it looked pretty good. But that was just a little picture, so.
Get this woodwork done tonight.
So you're gonna put a second coat of superfill on there, Bob? On the wing?
Yeah, this was just because I had some extra
Yeah,
to help fill it because I didn't want to waste it.
right.
It'll get superfill all the way from there back to here.
Oh, okay. Along that fairing
Yeah.
and onto that shelf in the front.
Yeah. This is going to be a much better finish than I did on my other ones.
On the Carumba?
Oh yeah, be way better.
Where was there room for improvement on those?
I'm sanding this with 600, maybe 1,000. It's like plastic right now. So, and I got to do this again. I'm doing it just like I did my Monado, which you've never seen.
There's no connection between that and the guy from Japan, the Kazminato. Is that just a coincidental?
No, his is Minato and mine is a Monado.
With a D, okay.
Yeah, Minato is was it a movie or something?
It was a Tom Morden airplane. I built, the XL, which is really a Continental I-beamer. I just copied his name. It's the only thing that was Minato on the thing was the name.
No, there's a Minato Japanese buffet restaurant in St. Louis.
I got to do my super fill for the hair of this pilot. I got to put a little beard on him.
All right.
Damn.
Everybody already have dinner tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What'd you have?
Leftovers.
I had my daughter and son-in-law got me a sous vide machine for Christmas.
Oh, what?
A sous vide machine.
I don't know what
It's
that is.
it's a circulator and heater. Kind of like a it's actually kind of like a aquarium heater. You put it on a pot, you put water in there, and then you set the temperature, and it holds that temperature. So then you put your whatever you're cooking. So you set it for the temperature you want the food to be. And then there's all kinds of charts and recipes to tell you how long to put it in there. So it took 30 minutes to cook this piece of red snapper. The only thing with sous vide is you got to hit it. You got to, throw it in a pan or hit it with a grill or put it under the broiler for a minute to get the Maillard reaction, because there's none
You're
of that
basically
going
just
on.
boiling it in water?
Except it's not boiled. It was set 130 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't boil. It doesn't boil. I don't think you
Alright.
set anything that high. But my son-in-law has done all kinds of stuff. You know, steaks, lamb, various
Oh, God.
various things.
I can't imagine cooking a steak in water.
Yeah. Well, you seal it up in a bag.
Oh, so it's not touching the water.
It's not touching water.
That's what that changes the. Now you can see why I thought it was a little bit weird.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not submerged. Well, it's submerged, but it's in a bag.
Doesn't it come out kind of just gray colored?
Yeah, that's why you got to hit it per minute or so with some heat at the end.
Like with some map gas?
There's a guy that's got a YouTube channel called Sous Vide Everything, Guga Foods. And he's got this torch thing. So he does his steak in the sous vide, and then he pulls it out and hits it with the torch, and it looks like it was on the grill for 5 minutes or so.
I like mine in a cast iron skillet basted with
Yeah,
butter.
yeah, that's another good way to do it. Oh, Bob, we're talking about food.
Oh, that's okay with me.
You ever heard of sous vide
Subi.
cooking?
No, what's that?
It's a heater with a circulator, and you put it in a pot of water, and you can set an exact temperature you want your food to go to. You seal it up in a plastic bag, put it in there, and it cooks to a precise temperature.
How do you know what temperature you like?
There's charts and recipes all over the place.
Can't you like just heat something up and taste it every now and then and see if it's hot enough?
No, because it's sealed in the bag.
I'm just being difficult.
I know.
Hello, Steve's. Hello, Gary. I got the
Mhm.
calendar today. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Wonderful job.
I'm sure mine will be here within a
Marky's
couple of
busy
days.
putting in superfill or whatever he's doing there.
Yeah,
Looks
well,
good.
he's prepping.
Real Steve Smith, it went out today,
Okay. How much do I owe you?
$12.
Do you take PayPal at that same address?
Don't worry about it.
Or you want me to mail you a roll of quarters?
Or 10 and 2, or 10 and 2
That
1.
costs more than
How
the,
about I buy you some strings?
Yeah,
What kind of strings do you like?
I'm using D'Addario Custom Lights 1152s.
Like phosphor bronze?
Mm-hmm.
Coated or not coated?
Not coated.
Okay.
I like the ring. You know, and anything like those elixirs and all that stuff, and they right 2 miles from me is Martin Guitar. You can buy their, you know, their version of the elixirs. They last a long time, but they don't sing. You know.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of the elixirs, but there is I think they were called EXPs, D'Addario EXPs. They're kind of a different kind of coated
Mm-hmm.
I was using. Let me write this down one more time.
Yeah.
Custom light.
Yeah, custom light 1152s. On the electric guitar, I'm using 1046s. Anyway, so we'll get all the music stuff out of the way quick. Did you go see A Complete Unknown yet?
No.
I saw it Christmas night at 10:20 at night. There was nobody else there. 4 other people, the whole theater.
Huh.
You know what it's about, right?
No. I was
Haven't
counting
seen the
to look.
trailers for A Complete Unknown?
I have not.
It's the story of Dylan from when he first came to New York
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't.
until the 1965, where he, Newport Festival where he won electric.
Yeah, the title was not resonating with me, but I did hear about that movie.
Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna go again and again and again.
Did you know that Gene Smith never did drugs or alcohol?
Gene Smith.
Yeah, from oh, Black Sabbath. Yeah,
I've never heard a Black Sabbath song in my
Are you
life.
talking about Gene Simmons from
Gene
Kiss?
Simmons. Yeah, that's it.
Gene Simmons
Yeah.
from Kiss, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Ace Frehley from Kiss is a model airplane flyer?
No. In what capacity?
Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, and so is Tom Schultz from Boston.
Huh.
He's a model airplane flyer. So anyway, your line wrapper is on the way.
All right, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can keep it till spring.
Well, hopefully I get it back quicker than that. I told my cousin about it.
Yeah, if you need to take drawings or, and if you need to, any explanations on it, what you do is it has a pad, a clamp on top with 2 leather pads. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
So you know what it is. You put the grommet on
Yeah.
the thing and you wrap the line around it.
Is this the one where you can kind of invert it for a big grommet or a small grommet?
Exactly. It has a reversible for a big one and a small one.
Yeah.
And, it has a little thing to tension it. Once you clamp it down, you can tension it. And then you wrap and fold it back and, wrap again. And,
Yep.
it works great. Wrap a set of lines in about 20 minutes.
What do you use to hold your serving? Let's call it serving. The
The wire?
copper wire.
Well, there's a hole right behind where the eyelet bolts to the piece, to the holder. There's a little hole, and I just run the serving wire through there and wrap it around a couple times, and that holds it so I can wrap it around the wire. Then I just snip off the excess.
But do you keep the wire is it loose and you're just handling it with your fingers, or do you have one of those things?
You just kind of go around, and you're
Okay.
got good eyesight. You can just make them as tight as possible, and they come out beautiful.
Yeah. There's a guy, I forget his name now, and he's since passed away, but I just stumbled on a picture in one of the old stunt news, and it looked like he was using a fly tying. I don't know what they call
Jim
it.
Lee. Jim Lee. He swings it around.
No, not that I have the Jim Lee thing.
Oh, okay.
I actually just made a set of lines last week for my cousin, and it works just like he shows in his video. I was amazed.
Yeah, but they don't wrap real tight. I've never been able to get them to wrap real tight.
This guy though looked like he was using a fly tying,
Yeah,
or the mechanism they use for
Yeah.
wrapping the thread. He had copper wire on that, and his almost looked too neat to use. They were like, wow, I did. Or put another way, it's a shame to cover them up with heat shrink, you know?
well, I don't do that. I just leave them uncovered.
And so you don't how do you terminate the end and not poke yourself and blah
No,
blah?
I just take a real sharp pair of real small wire cutters and go in there real close and snip it off, and it's fine. No problems at all.
Huh. That's the once you get good at doing that, that's the main reason not to use Spectres, because then you don't get to play with that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had enough time on the Spectre or the synthetic lines. I don't use Spectre. I use Fins 4G, and I've flown the airplane back to back on the steel lines and then also on the Fins 4G, and it's been pre-stretched and everything. And the only thing I don't like about it is I had to open the handle to get the same reaction, the same turn rate and everything. I had to open the handle about a quarter of an inch on either side. So there is some stretch in there. Having
So
said
that
that,
is
once
good,
I
though.
opened it, I didn't notice a big difference. I had to take tip weight out, and I didn't notice any whipping of the lines. I mean, we get so used to it, we don't even realize it's there until it's not there. So I think the jury's out.
I know Sparky said in temperatures below 50 degrees, he's going to use nothing but Spectre lines.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because they won't be flying.
You know, the one thing I read that I never thought of that I guess could be a legitimate issue. I'm trying to think who just wrote this. Maybe it was Jim Hoffman. He said
Bigger airplanes.
he can see them. Was it Jim Hoffman? That's somebody just mentioned that the problem he has with Spectre is with steel lines, he never really paid attention to them. They're not as obvious visually, but
Yep.
the Spectra is, and it distracts him. And he says
Yeah,
he
for
sees them.
maybe a flight or two, and then you get used to it and you forget about it.
Okay.
It's the same thing with electric. The first time you fly electric, you can't get used to the fact there's no vibration.
Hmm.
And it's like it takes you a couple of flights and then you forget about it.
I'll tell you what I don't like about them. When you come into the wind from around the other side of the circle, into the wind at level flight, it feels to me like they open up.
Huh.
Like they're like this when they're going normally, and then when you come into the wind, they go like that.
Well, it's funny you should
Like
say
it-
that because I've seen a couple of in-flight shots of people using them, and they do look. It was noticeable that the wires were quite far apart.
Like they unravel, you mean?
No.
They just don't stick together as tightly.
They're all fibers. They're all fibers in a cable like this. And when
Right.
they come into the wind, they feel like they go like that. They flattened out. It's what it
Huh.
feels like to me. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but it feels that way.
Could be. I haven't got enough experience with them, especially in
So
heavyweight.
they're not all constructed the same way.
That's right.
And I know you maybe don't have a burning desire to find some you like better, Sparky, but it could be that it was just the make and model of Spectre you were flying that
I'm
acted
using
like
the made by and furnished by Dennis Admission lines. So those are his.
Those were Spin
That's his
5.
baby.
Spin 5.
Whatever. I mean, he's the Spectre guru, and he made me the lines. I still got them, and
The reason
I'm not afraid to try them, but I just don't like them.
The reason he's told me he landed on the fins fishing is because maybe it's not a problem anymore, but I guess there was a period of time when guys were buying their Spectra, say on eBay or Amazon or something, and they were getting counterfeit stuff, and it didn't have the strength it was supposed to, where with fins, when you buy it, you're buying it direct from the factory. So I guess at least you don't worry about counterfeit.
Yeah, that's the only experience I've had is on the Fins 5G. And it was fine. I mean, once I opened the handle a little more, I forgot I was flying on it.
Now you're flying a 60 size airplane, for lack of
Yeah,
a
it's
better descriptor.
yeah. I don't fly big 60 size airplanes, and maybe 640, 635, 640. Some of well, there's twins are bigger. Twins are like 670. But I haven't put it on a twin yet.
When I was asking Denny about what line to pick, he told me, so I bought some Spectre to use on a stunt or on a ringmaster, standard size ringmaster. And then I bought some that I could use on like a LA 46 sized airplanes. And he told me he didn't think that, he thought that 40G, which is that's the smallest diameter relative to pulling strength that they make. He said that stuff he thought stretched more than the Spin 5 or the Wind Tamer, or they've got three
Well,
or four.
Hoffman wrote a thing on Stunt Hangar about, I think it was on Stunt Hangar. I forgot where it was. Anyway, he wrote a thing about he uses them on 35 size airplanes, but when he gets up to the 60s, he feels they do stretch too much. Now, I didn't fly. My airplanes don't pull real hard. The twins do, but I don't set my airplanes up to pull real hard. I believe my old saying is Rembrandt could not have painted his masterpieces if while he was painting, someone was trying to pull the brush out of his hand. So I try to get as little line tension as I can, but just enough.
Okay.
But with the twins, there's not much of an option. They pull, you know. I
As
mean,
a guy,
like Windy Sweeper, but they pull. Yeah.
would you
Oh,
say
Walker's bomber. That's what you need.
Yeah.
on a properly trimmed airplane, is the line tension the same overhead as it is in level flight, or is
I
it
would say it's the same. I don't think you can ever get it to be exactly the same, but
Okay.
you don't have as much a differential. And especially if you're using the active timer systems, the ones that have the G-force and the nose up feature, they give you extra power. The nose up actually works. That feature works from 45 degrees to 90. So you only turn it on when you need it in the wind, and it does give you extra tension up top. And so does the G-force. If it senses a loss in centrifugal force, it increases the motor speed to get it back. So that works really well in the wind. But in calm, I don't use any of that stuff. I just use the standard features and go.
Is there an IC equivalent to that? Is there a tweak, Sparky, that you always make if it's windy, a different prop or a higher RPM or?
No, he leaves it in the car.
Yeah.
He's a smart man.
Okay.
He's a smart guy. That's funny. Puppy looks happy.
Yeah, I let him in my lap, so now he's happy. Kind of. He's not comfortable though.
If my dog got in my lap, I'd have to go to the hospital. Big golden retriever.
Yeah.
She thinks she's a lap dog.
Hmm.
What are you feeding her, Steve? Him.
Not sure. I forget what it is.
He cooks it in warm water and seals it in a plastic bag. I know that.
Because we just
regular kibble.
We switched over from kibble to that farmer's dog, and we noticed a difference. Now it's expensive.
Wow.
It's about $260 a month.
I was going to say it.
But I'll tell you what, she just leaps for it where she never did that for the kibble, and she wolfs it right down and she licks the bowl for half an hour. And it's made where human food is made, and it smells like something you eat yourself. I mean, it's just really good smelling food. So it's probably pretty healthy, but it's pretty expensive. So,
yeah, just like human food that's really healthy, more expensive.
I wouldn't know about healthy human food. Oh, Sparky's doing pretty good there. He's getting that thing going. Looks pretty funny for a jet. You're supposed to build a jet, weren't you?
Yeah, I was supposed to, but didn't look right.
It's one of the nice things about these mannequin of numbers. You have this mannequin, like a mannequin in a store window, and you can put any kind of clothes on it you want. And within reason, it's going to fly the same.
all a big Nobler.
Yeah, pretty much. What a lively group, huh?
One of us is watching the Blues game though.
Holiday hangover.
Yeah,
What are you watching?
our hockey team's playing right now, the Blues.
A hockey.
I got that going in the background.
I went to a fight once and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah, not anymore. The game's a lot different now. They hardly ever fight these days. I think there's more fighting on reality TV now.
I used to do roller hockey when I was a kid. I was a roller racer, and my sister was a national champion roller skater. She was a pro, and so I did a lot of roller skating, mostly racing, some freestyle dance, and all that stuff. But I like racing. But we also had a hockey team, and that was fun to do.
Just as I say that, guess what's happening right now,
A
Bob?
fight. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we need is stuff. We need more fights.
How many minutes is the penalty for fighting in stunt?
I will tell you this. I thought about it when I saw it on Yellowstone. Have you ever heard of pay up?
Of who?
Pay up. When we have a contest, we should have pay up. That means if you're in last place, you got to give everybody $10. If you're in first place, you get it all. And if you're in second place, you got to give $10 to the first place guy. So, down the way, it's called pay up.
Oh yeah, that'll really spur activity and involvement.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would for some.
We did that once. We had a thing where we had a pool. Wasn't much. We threw $5 in or something, and then we had match flights. We would have two circles, and you'd fly on the main circle against you get matched to somebody. If you lose, you go to the second circle and wait for the next guy that gets bumped off out of the first round, and then the two circles would run all day. Whoever was the winner in circle A would then fly against the guy who beat all the other losers in circle B, and they fly against each other in the finals. And Billy Simons collected the whole pot of, I think, $40 or something.
What about club contest where everybody has to use the same airplane?
That's a good idea.
I don't mean one design. I mean it's that airplane.
That airplane, yeah.
Your turn, fly it.
With the provision that you get to set the airplane up without flying it, you get to visually say, okay, I want the balance point here, and I want the line spacing wherever you want it. And then get your handle setting and fly.
Time.
Because there's so many different ways people set up their pitch trim. My son balances his airplane someplace about mid tail wheel.
Well, well, this is just me observing it, but it seems like the accomplished guys all have flown they fly, take Joe Gilbert. He's flown everybody's airplane and he seems to do okay from what they say, right? I don't know. Like it almost
Well,
seems
I can't fly. I've flown Danny Banjock's airplanes, and he trims with anvils in the nose. I can't turn. He can turn them. I can't get that airplane around a corner. But he can't fly mine either. He thinks mine are so sensitive, and mine are just kind of neutral because I've flown airplanes that are way more tail heavy than mine. I can't fly them, and mine are trimmed just about the way Billy Werwich trims his because we can switch airplanes. And Mikey Palco, we can switch airplanes. They all have about the same, pitch trim. The balance points all in the same place, But some people are like a lot back in the 70s. Most of the East Coast guys, Casal and Windy and all those guys, they were trimming with incredible amounts of nose weight and just forcing the airplanes through the corner. And I just can't do that. But that is a good idea, and it has been done before, actually. We had an airplane out of VSC called the VUM. It belonged to Gordon Delaney. And he said we're going to have a challenge. And it was Bart Klipinski, Billy Werwich, myself, Ted Fancher, and somebody else. I forgot who the fifth guy was. But we weren't allowed to do anything except fly the airplane. And Billy
Kind
flew.
of like an IROC race.
Yeah, it was like an IROC race. And Billy flew the airplane and he landed. He says, "You're going to win this." I said, "Why?" He says, "This is your airplane." He said, "This is exactly your airplane. It flies exactly like your Genesis." And he was right. And I did win it. There he is.
Give
He
it a
comes
double.
into this conversation.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
How you doing, iPad?
Hello, young man. Hello, Stephen.
We were just talking. I was talking to the other Steve Smith a week or so ago about how it'd be kind of. I wondered if anybody ever did a contest, like a local contest, club contest, where everybody flew the same airplane.
Oh,
Not
I'd
like
love that.
not one design, but like everybody's going to use this twister or whatever Sparky's favorite profile is.
Until we kill it.
Yeah.
Until somebody kills it.
That'd be the
Yeah.
rule. If you crash it, you got to fix it.
That'd be fun. Supply epoxy and CA.
It's like that old thing: the first flyer never has a chance. Well, the last flyer never has a chance. If somebody else
That
can,
may be right. That it'd be an interesting thing, Steve. I mean, there's some of the guys can just fly whatever they pick their hands up with. It just Bobby could do that. He could fly whatever he picked up.
no, that's not true. I mean, if the balance point's got to be where I'm comfortable.
I get it, but
I tried flying Giesche's airplane. Giesche's here, fly my airplane. He flies with this monster handle with his fingertips. He flies like flute like this. Just that's the amount of control he had, and he balances the thing again about mid tail wheel. And I couldn't get down. I could not get down below 20 feet with that. I was scared because I thought I was going to crash it. I just
oh
flew it
my
out.
goodness, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be to do it fairly, Steve. You'd almost let everybody have one flight ahead of time with their handle to see what they think they need to do.
Here's
The
how you
handle,
do
I
it.
think,
You
is a
have
big deal.
everybody fly the same airplane, and they bring their handle and their set of lines, and they can adjust it up anyway. That way, between rounds, you just take the lines off, reel them up. The next guy comes in with lines. The handle's already set for him, and go.
I think that would be an interesting deal. I do.
One year at the Circle Burners, this was back in the early 70s, mid 70s. They had a little club inside the club called the Safads, and it was the Saturday Afternoon Flying and Drinking Society.
Oh my goodness.
And there was Ed Capitanelli and his son Kevin, and Glenn Metter and Mike Turo. Probably don't know any of those guys except maybe Glenn.
I know.
And they were all, ragging on each other about who's the better pilot. So Mike Turo had this really good flying Chipmunk. It was all monocoque. It weighed nothing. Flew great. Had a max 35 in it. And he said, "We're going to solve this today. We're going to have a contest. Everybody gets one flight. No practice. You just got to go out there and fly the airplane." So they'd all flown that airplane before, so they knew it flew good. So Eddie went first. He didn't do very well. Kevin went next, and Kevin was a pretty good flyer. He was, I think, a junior national champ at one point. And he did real well. And then Glenn gets up there, and he was the last one. And he starts the engine, and he gets up, he looks down and tweaks the needle, looks down and tweaks the needle, and picks up the lines like real sternly, and he's walking out to the handle. Kevin took the handle off. He gets out there, and it's two lines dangling. Now, if he was a real man, he would have gotten.
No. Oh, that's brilliant.
We were rolling on the ground laughing.
Oh my goodness. I flew a ringmaster years ago with this
You're kidding.
keychain ring and a keychain hooked on. And I'm not ever going to do that again. It hurt way worse than you think it's going to hurt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In 1980, there was a Chinese flyer had rings and had the lines attached to rings. He put the rings on his fingers and flew that way. He flew the whole time.
That's what I did, but it pulled so hard it hurt my fingers.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
amazing. I flew like this one time, up on one, down, up, down,
Like a kite.
like a kite. I flew that. And that's not that hard. You could figure that out pretty quick. That wasn't that bad. But I ended up putting my hands together You can't do a part. You got to put them together because that's all you get right there.
Yeah.
Very little movement.
I once, Gene Schaefer, I crashed a Caprice at it, it's 19, just after I got out of the Army in early 69. I crashed the Caprice wind flying at Mitchell Field. So Schaefer goes to me, he felt guilty because he goaded me into it. So he said, come back to my apartment, kid. You can have one of my airplanes. I said, Gene, you fly the other way. He's a clockwise flyer, left-handed. He said, well, he had that twitch. He said, well, just hook the upline to the downline and the downline to the upline. And just when you take off, think about your airplane in the inverted position. Well, it worked. It worked so well that I actually took third in a contest without appearance.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
you did that.
Yeah. And I was going to train the judges at the Nationals one year until one of the contestants complained that I was flying the warm-up flights backwards. I had the stunt machine that belonged to me. And so several years later, we're out at Flushing Meadows. It was in 1974. And Schaefer, I have a brand new Genesis out there, just brand new, polished and ready to go for the Nats. And he says, how come you never let me try that with one of your airplanes? I said, well, I figured, if he's the one that thought of it, he must have done it. So I said, well, here, fly it. So we reverse the lines.
Oh,
you take off and, you're like flying your own airplane inverted, but it's actually upright. Well, he went right to the top. He flipped it over, went right to the top of the circle, and he's going around the circle. He says, Bobby, get out here. And I ran out there. I said, what? He says, I can't do this.
Take it quick.
Brand new airplane. So he flew it without watching it until it was almost out of fuel, then flipped it over and concentrated real hard and got it on the ground without dinging it up. I like to kill him.
Man.
I can't do this. As long as you don't look at the landing gear, just watch the spinner, you're okay.
That's probably, you watch the spinner. Forget the rudder and the gear.
Yeah, just watch the spinner. Don't think about it too much.
Nope. I've had people launch my flight streak inverted, just hand launch it and done the pattern backwards,
Yeah.
but the rudder's in the right place. That's what can confuse you, I think.
That would be a good contest too. We used to do that too. Is take off, go inverted, fly the whole pattern from the inverted position.
Yeah, I've done that lots of times.
Yeah, that would be a good contest. Then you can use your own airplane.
Just hand launch it.
No, we'll just take off and go inverted. And then everything gets done from the inverted position.
That's not that hard, really.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I know. I find it pretty easy myself.
Makes you think though.
He who has yet to fly.
The two guys that know me laughed. I got 3.1 flights under my belt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what do you mean 0.1?
Pardon me?
I said, what do you mean 0.1?
That means I made it to the end of the carrier takeoff deck before my upline got hooked
Got
by
snagged, yeah.
We put all this work into these things, and we put all this work into these beauties, and then we go out and do stupid things with them.
Luckily, this was not one of those airplanes. This was something that I bought from a guy leaving the hobby, and he didn't own sandpaper, I can tell you. It was pretty rough, so I didn't
mind.
It didn't break my heart that it crashed. Now, once it was gone, it's like, well, that sucks. I don't have an airplane now, but it was a cheap lesson.
Does
Has anybody go ahead.
You're good.
Has anybody here built the Tudor airplane, the top flight Tudor from years ago? I've never even seen one fly, but I built two of them now for the grandkids. And I think it's like a 410-inch wing. It's not a huge airplane.
They had two of them. They had a big one and they had a smaller one.
This is the little one, two little ones with Fox 35s. I hope they fly good enough to do tricks. I'm sure they will. I don't know. I never seen one fly.
I've seen them fly. I mean, they don't build up very light, as you probably know. It was kind of a lot of wood.
20 ounces ready for paint.
That's not bad. Some of them have been really.
Have they?
Ricky, yeah.
I
Well,
waited
okay.
today.
The
The-
one thing,
the-
one bad thing about that airplane is like what the Firecat was too, is that the wing is mounted too low in the fuselage.
Absolutely.
So the vertical CG is off quite a bit.
I put big wheels on the first one. I think it weighs 32 ounces ready to fly with the Fox 35. And I got heavy wheels to make it balance vertical
Yeah.
CG well.
Otherwise, the outside it'll fly. The lines will come down.
Right
And
there.
cool level. Yeah.
Well, the kids are solo now, and they think they want to do tricks. So I'm trying to get some airplanes up because I'm sure they'll be hard on stuff. It's
Stuart?
okay.
Stuart, the Blues are winning 4-2 at the end of the first period here.
Well, Toronto's winning 4-0.
Yeah.
Against the Wings.
Well, we just beat them by that. Hang on.
So did anybody get any good stuff for Christmas?
Socks.
Yeah, I got an interesting thing. Robbie bought me a little device. You will see these things that have the wands that go down inside things, so you can look at inspection things and go inside things.
Sure.
Well, this one connects to a big TV screen in your hand. You get a nice high def TV screen. So you put the thing in, you can see really what's going on in there. It's pretty cool.
Yep. I've seen they use it in aviation down the pistons or back in a hole somewhere to look for stuff.
Now my wife immediately came up with. She said, "Now you can do proctology."
Yeah. Your own colonoscopies. Yeah, that worked out well for you.
I said, no.
I don't think so, Tim. No,
That ain't gonna happen.
that's not going to happen. That's right. No. I got some decal set stuff. Well, there's decal set, decal softener. That stuff really works good. I guess you all use that, don't you? When you put decals on.
From Micro Mark.
No, I got this from Amazon, but there's 2 bottles. One of them's
Right.
a set and one of them's a decal softener.
Blue and red. They're from
That's
Micro.
right. It's really quite works good, Robert. I think, wow, I should have had this a long time ago.
This stuff right here. Oh, you can't see.
That's
No,
exactly what I got. That's exactly what I have. Same stuff.
it works good.
It works good.
So you put it, you soften the decal before you work
Well,
with it?
no,
or-
you put down the glue on the bottom, not glue, the decal set on just slide it on where you want it. Then you take the other and put it on top and then rub it out. And that softens it and makes it set. It just sucks. If you got wood grain, it'll suck into the wood grain almost. It's quite amazing. Where I heard about it was the HO model train people use it to put their decals on their train stuff. It's got rivets and things. So I bought some and I like it. It's okay. Then I got some pipettes, pair of side cutters. That was all good.
Is that what you call a female pipe?
Huh?
That's what you call a female pipe?
No, a pipette, like the little things you put your CA on with.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, got 2 different kinds. They got little ones and big ones.
That was a poor facsimile of humor.
Yeah,
but
I get it. Shoot. That's too funny.
Yeah, Steve will be here all week.
like in the same vein, this is a cat,
That's right.
little girl cat. How you do it?
Middle
Yeah, I
name's
understand.
Trouble. Middle name Trouble.
Yeah, that's moon pie.
That's fun.
Gary's already nodding out.
He's up.
He's
Thank you
nodding.
for the calendar, Gary. That's very kind of you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 7th one I've gotten.
Oh my goodness.
I'm looking at it, all 6 of them up here on my corkboard. I got to get the other one and put it up there.
Bob, did you ever happen to make contact with Mark Lanterman?
I didn't. I apologize. I did
No,
not
that's
make contact.
I know what the holiday.
I gotta write things down. If I don't write them down nowadays, I almost forgot to send out that line wrapper. So I got to think. I said tonight's that you know, is the chat. And wait a minute, I'm supposed to send Steve that line wrapper. So, and I had somebody else I had to send us some wire to. I got that out today too. The handle, restring his handle.
Yeah, I got to write stuff down too.
And
I'm anxious to hear. I'm anxious to hear your report on the line wrapping, Steve. I think you'll think, "Oh, this was too easy. I should have done this a long time ago."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sparky made a video last year where he makes, a simple version of that jig. This one, I think, is just a Cadillac in that you can tension the lines up. You don't have to loosen the clamp.
Yes.
In
Jerry
terms of,
Phelps made this one.
and I got it. My cousin has kind of got that woodworking business where he's looking for little things to make. So I'll say, hey, maybe you can make a few of these.
Mine's actually got 2 hold downs. You can bring them both back through both of them, tighten them both up, put tension on it, do your wrapping, loosen the front one, and just take the front one out, fold it, leave the back one tight.
Yep.
And then you got tension on it, fold it back over and go with it. But
That's
you
how
can
this one
always
works.
you can always move them,
You got this
The only thing, mine's a little bit narrow this way. You got to be careful getting your hand under it. The little bit taller one would be better to get your hand under.
You need smaller hands.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I've made, if I said 50 sets of lines, that wouldn't be an exaggeration, but you get where you get pretty good at it if you monkey
You
with
do a
it.
set of lines in 20 minutes.
That's about exactly right. That's not
Ever
even
have
pushing.
If you ever have a tangled set of lines, just hand them to Colleen.
Colleen's pretty good at that, isn't she, Spark?
Yeah, she's real good at it.
she
Remember one year-
saved several sets.
Or when you're in VSC, I flew solids, as most of you know, for most of my career. I just got off of them just recently, but I had solids out there, 12 solids, and I was running them out, and I was talking to somebody in spring, and it just went like spaghetti.
Oh no!
And T. Art and Bobby McDonald happened to be on solids too, and they were laughing at me and busting my chops because it took me about an hour to get it all. Yeah, I got them without kinking anything. Wouldn't you know that later that afternoon they both did the same thing?
I tried solids. Oh, I don't know, 15 years ago, and they are better. They're better, but on grass fields when you got the guys I fly with, everybody's tromping around and one step through the grass.
Yep.
You just throw it away. So,
paranoid all day long about your lines, and
so I gave up on that. I gave up on that.
I went to those Ruslan Kurenkov, those Ukrainian lines. I like those.
I think those are fabulous, actually.
Where do you get that?
You don't.
I don't know.
He's making drones now for the Ukrainian army. So
I did a bunch of pull tests with them. Take a piece this long and a piece of the 18s, and even the 14.5s in my testing stretched less at 30 pounds pull than our 18,000s.
Yeah, they're amazing.
18,000s line, 63 feet long, and a 30-pound pull will stretch right at 4 inches.
Yep.
And those Ukrainians are right at 3
So
with the same 30-pound pull.
This guy was actually making the cable, or he
No,
just
he was
no.
He probably there was a source over there, and he found it worked for us, and he was just producing lines. I'm sure, and I kept all the cutoffs, and I'm going to wrap like 12-inch pieces up, put them in an envelope, and send them out to wire rope companies because we have something equivalent here.
Not that I know of. I haven't seen it.
I know that there's an Italian line that's almost equivalent.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. I've been finding all my stuff on 14,500, Bob.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm talking about 66 or 8-ounce airplanes. Yeah. And the stretch of that is really quite good.
I don't have anything that heavy, Joe.
I know, but I'm saying you can. I mean, I'm not scared of it. You pull test at 30 pounds on one line that stretches 3 inches. That's pretty good.
They're safe. They're totally. But you got to do more maintenance. You got to make sure you put that lube on them
every time you fly them.
Yep.
When you finish, unhook them, run them to the airplane, and clean them. I just unhook them and run them clean.
What do you lube them with?
They actually send you a little. I have to go get the bottle. It's too much of a hike for me right now downstairs. It's two floors down. A little bottle of stuff. I forgot what the actual name of it is.
Stay right.
Stay straights, yeah. Lay straights to stay straights.
Their telefax is 01625 423 whatever that means, but it's in the UK. Made in UK by Progress Aero Works, Union Mill, Union Street, and these are them goofy lines.
That's
Have
the
you, have you
Ukraine
flown on
stuff.
them?
Yeah, they got a phone on it, but it probably cost you $100 just to say hello.
I said, have you flown on them?
Oh no, I haven't even taken them out of the. I've had these probably 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
I wondered where I recognize that name from. Progress Aero Works is the diesel engine guys.
That's right. Yeah.
PAW diesels.
Well, there's where you get them.
Have you wrapped them? I wrapped mine, cut them off and wrapped them the right length. And they're more difficult to wrap, to be quite honest. You got to really work at it pretty hard to wrap them. They're and Bobby, I think they'll act like the solids. They'll unspool on you.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with solids. Wrapping solids is no bargain either.
I think if I was going to use those, I would get some furls and the right pliers to crimp them. Because that wire's pretty springy.
It's pretty springy. I'll wrap mine, but you had to be work at it a little bit.
What are you doing, Jim?
Hi, how you doing? How are you?
Good, how are you, John?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm working on this carrier airplane. I've been just finished up. Let me see if I can show it to you. There.
Spotlight it.
Well, MO1?
Yeah. So I'm monkeying with the bell crank and the lines, and getting those all set up in the beginning is.
You got to wrap the readouts exactly right.
Yep.
Hey, Jim, have you been after Jim Allen to get his airplane finished?
I haven't talked to Jim Allen in probably a year.
Oh, okay. I talk to him semi-frequently.
Oh,
And the way I met him, believe it or not, is I put an ad online. I was looking for a header to use with one of the rear exhaust OS engines. I had one laying around. I think I'll maybe use it at some point in the future. And he's like, oh, I have one. And we ended up talking, and he went to college here in town at Parks College and knows some of the people I know. And subsequent conversations, he mentioned that you were after him to get an airplane ready for VSC and come out and fly some control line again.
well, he comes out and does appearance judging for us every year at VSC, and every year he threatens to put a flight streak together, and I tell him, here's what you need, and he knows how to do it all, and we have the same conversation a year later.
Well, he's actually working on it a little bit off and on, so
that's good. So I heard, I listened to the chat a little bit ago. I had to walk away. I heard people talking about spectral lines. I've had good success with them, but I use them on small airplanes, say 40 ounces and under. The big stuff, I can sense the stretch and you feel it in the corners. And it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. Most people wouldn't notice it at all. But that's my experience. Otherwise, I like them.
I was read that thing you were writing, or someplace something you wrote about the big airplanes. You don't use them on the big airplanes. You use them on smaller airplanes. Did you find when you did put them on the larger airplanes that you had to, in order to get the same response in corners and things, the same turn rate, you had to open the handle spacing a little?
Well, I didn't go so far as that, but that was how I did back-to-back flights with the two materials, and I noticed the corners suffered with the Spectra.
Yeah.
So I was done. I went back to the braided cable, 18 thousandths braided cables.
As soon as I opened the handle spacing and went and tried it again, I didn't notice the difference.
Yeah, but then other things are changing too when you do that. So yeah. I didn't go there. That's a good idea. Yeah, but I do like that they're maintenance free. They're very robust. I don't think I've ever damaged a set. I like that about them. You can't kink them. So, and the little ones I really like. I think I can feel that the whip is reduced. You know, a little 35-ounce old timer. It's a nice. They're really nice on those. So that's where I've gone with that. And I use it on this carrier thing. There's mechanisms, not on the flying lines, but there's little things that got mechanisms that have to pull, and it's perfect material to use on a carrier airplane.
They allow that, right? It's okay in carrier to do that?
Well, they're not load-bearing lines. They're just, releasing the line slider and that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I asked Bert. In carrier, you can't use Spectra. They don't have the rule that we have.
Right. It took us a long time to get that.
Yeah.
It was in the general rules for quite a long time, but the PA board wouldn't,
Yeah.
every time it came up, I voted for it, but, and finally we got it through.
Yeah. I was surprised. I built this carrier plane and I sized everything made sure it passed the 10G pull test. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was informed carrier profiles a 20G pull test.
Oh, wow.
So I made a set of lines today, and I pull tested them to little over 20 Gs to make sure they were good.
What do those airplanes weigh?
This one weighs 48 ounces.
Okay.
I'll show it to you. Figure out how to do that.
Equivalent
Hold
to a
on a
35
second. Let me
size cutter?
spotlight you. Where'd you go? Here we go.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's but you build them heavy. I mean, I was told don't use my contest wood. I used all kinds of heavy wood, and weight is not an issue. I mean, you could build this thing at 40 ounces easily, but this thing is about 48 or 49. Now, the whole thing is glassed.
Is that because of windy days and low speed?
It's because of that those landings.
60-pound pull test. Who'd you tie it to?
I did one line at a time.
You don't think that if you built that at 40 ounces, it would last? I bet it would.
Well,
go faster and fly slower.
Well, I'll tell you, I fly with a guy who's a national champion of everything in carrier, and he said build it the way I built it. So you might be right, but he would disagree with you, and he's got more credentials than either of us.
Okay.
So that's what I did.
That my buddy
They
Kurt.
take a horrible beating.
They do. Yeah.
60-pound pull test. I know we flew those scale airplanes, Eddie Masons, and it's 120-pound pull test on them big B-17s and Constellations. And the poor burger holding the handle, Eddie and I had to hold both hands on it and pull it harsh we could pull it. And he finally gave up. He couldn't stay. There's no way to pull 120 pounds on one human being.
Yeah.
It can't be done.
Eric Connolly stopped flying carrier, and I think that was sort of the first symptom is he couldn't really do the pull test.
Wow.
You know, he's my height and he's thin. He's a little guy.
It's kind of like that. If you're not this high, you can't fly this. You can't ride this ride. Well,
That's right.
You can't do the pull test. You can't fly this event.
I'm sure everybody here's seen those, but you put that airplane with the screaming 60 on it, and you'll get behind the car, dude. That sucker's going so fast, it's scary. Get behind the car and duck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jim, you know who that is?
I do not.
And what it is?
It's a Corsair with a screaming 60 Super Tiger, probably.
It's a Bearcat.
Bearcat, is it? Okay.
That's S. Calhoun Smith. Cal Smith.
Oh, wow.
And that's the USS Small Fry, the first commissioned carrier for model airplanes for the Navy Nationals. And that's now, look at how many spectators are watching this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrier's pretty impressive back in the days. That sucker might do 120 mile an hour, y'all, for real.
Yeah. Carrier was very big in Phoenix when I arrived here, and I knew a lot of those guys. And I mean, it was a different event. They built these beautiful little scale airplanes. They're beautiful, but they didn't hang them. The landings were these controlled crashes. They just beat the snot out of these beautiful airplanes.
It was a good shot. Thing coming just about ready to hit the deck.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably doing 30 miles an hour. He's probably
Yeah.
It's on rollers. Look at there.
I was at that national. That was 1953. No, 57. 57.
I wish more people flew Carrier. It's a lot of fun, and it ain't easy.
Not easy.
Hmm. Not like stunt, which is real easy.
Up, down, or neutral, man. That's all there is.
Left and right and up and down.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the hardest event?
FAI team race.
Probably.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I watched it at the Nats this year. We saw some races that were just unbelievable.
It's almost beautiful.
Oh yeah, and then the finals. What was happening? It was fabulous. It was a 200 lap race, and one guy was ahead by maybe a lap, and he ran out of gas at like 1 or 2 laps before the finish line, and he lost. They overtook him. You know, they knew if they made a pit stop, they'd lose, so they just went for it. It's incredible. And I watched them process the airplanes. They're measuring everything: fuel tank volumes, displacements, the geometry on the airplanes, God knows what else. Really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then they video, the races are videoed. So there was a protest. There was a semifinals race, and there was some protest or something happened. And the jury said, well, we're going to go off and figure it out. And they were gone for several hours.
Wow.
But, you know, they were looking at the videos and figuring it out.
Did they have to pay $50 for the protest, or is that just stunt?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. I wish there was an announcer to sort of explain it to us. You know, you would chat with the other guys in the peanut gallery and they'd sort of tell you what you're watching, but
God forbid they did their job.
no.
It's the center of the circle when they're hopping and running and passing. There's a lot of stuff going on there you don't even catch on to.
Oh yeah. If you've ever raced, Joe, I know you have. I mean, you're shoving each other around.
Lots, but they push more than you think they should. And there's a smaller guy there. Most of the guys are, I'm going to say, 6 foot tall, and they can just stand up and raise their hand up over their head and take you. This little booger had to get up like this, and he just jumped between them like a rabbit.
Yeah.
They don't often open up to let you in. He just bullied his way right in there and got his spot. But dude, you're something. You're something.
And I know you're allowed 2 fouls, and nothing happens to you, and then third foul you're DQ'd. So if you're not finishing up with 2 fouls, you're not doing it right.
You're not exactly right.
And they announced it was a bullhorn, number 2 whipping, and
they do that. Yeah.
I watched a whole lot of finals at the World Championships I went to. They were nuts. I mean, some of them were just incredible. Watching Meyer brothers win in '78, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it this time, but in France we watched the speed, and the speed was very interesting too to me. There was an Italian lady there that I think her grandfather's been a world champion a whole bunch of times, but this girl, mid-20s, she's a younger woman, but she got that airplane up, took off, and acted like she's flying over that yoke and did her 5 laps and killed it. They slid the airplane to a stop, put it back on, and refueled it, started again, and she went out there and I don't know if she flew 300, but 298 probably. But that girl could fly that airplane. But they whipped it and then readjusted the needle like they wanted to after she landed and got it's the rules are different. I mean, you got your little so many minute window, and that window is yours. But they took opportunity to fly a test flight, catch it, stop it, refuel it, put it in another stand, and get it going again, and still be within that window to get her.
I think once you go in the yoke, it's official, right?
That's right. But you got a 5-minute window. You don't have to be in the yoke the first 2 minutes, say, you know. But that's a neat event too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to play tiddlywinks and win against the best, you better practice because somebody's going to be.
Yep. That's a good question. What do you think is the hardest event?
Free flight. You got to chase a dang airplane.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jim.
I think if you're doing them, if you do it to the 9s or to the 10s, they're all hard. I mean,
I agree, Bobby. I think Bobby's got a fair statement.
They all have the same amount of minutia that you have to know, and you have to really. The one who digs the furthest down is generally going to be. It has talent. Is going to be the one that wins eventually. You know.
Yeah,
Is
that's
control
true.
line speed determined much by the pilot? The flying skill, or is it more
The
when you
stopwatch.
start the thing, it's what you
Yeah.
got?
At the world level, when I saw some of those guys could lock that airplane and just fly level, and they got to fly a certain altitude to get timed. And the guys that did that were typically faster than the ones doing this, chasing all the time.
Right.
I'm sure that's trim and piloting both.
Anytime you're putting in control in anything, whether it be a race car or an airplane, you're causing drag.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know the answer, Steve. I think if you gave the best airplane to the worst pilot, he still would not win, in my opinion. I think that's a fair statement.
Well, that's true in stunt. I just didn't
Yeah.
know if it was that way for speed or not.
I think so. I do. I saw guys at the Worlds get to doing this and whack the ground, bam, and kill the engine. You know, off a two-tail heavy or just hadn't practiced. I don't know enough about that airplane to tell you what was wrong with it, but all the pilots aren't created equal. And scale is definitely that way too.
I'll tell you one thing: they can't read plans because one wing is always way longer than the other one. You know?
Yeah. What they do about tip wing.
Well, the one thing I like about stunt is if you look at it, there are very few technical rules. You can pretty much do anything you want. You have a power plant limit. You have a circle radius limit. That's about it. The other events have a lot of technical limitations. I think that's a really interesting part about stunt.
Uh-huh.
Try all these different technologies, playing with vortex generators and trip strips and
Retracts.
all this stuff.
Yeah. You can show your individualism. You can think outside the box.
Yeah.
What I want to know is why do scale guys never seem to start their engines before the contest?
No comment.
So there's a couple of stunt guys, Alan Goff and Mike McHenry. They noticed that, and they do very, very well in scale because they know how to fly the airplanes and run the engines.
I've done okay with Eddie flying scale too.
You too, Joe. You fly scale.
I've done okay.
Yeah.
One time, Eddie and I started 64 engines in one afternoon.
Somebody who was at Whiteley told me a great story once. He's at the Nats. Some guy had this beautiful Corsair. He finally gets a scale airplane. He finally gets it started. He takes off and he gets it in the air, and then he retracts the gear, and then the gear go aft. And so when he does that, the CG was already pretty far aft. Now it was too far aft. And he just destroyed the airplane. So says the story.
Those that practice typically do better.
Yeah.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
So I tried this ultra coat stuff, this yellow stuff on this carrier plane.
How do you like it?
It's better than I expected. I was able to use it okay. The one
The Ultra Coat, when I was doing RC product review airplanes, that was all I used.
the one thing I did like about it is it's more robust. I usually with monocoat, I usually burn a hole through it every now and again. This I never burnt a hole.
And it looks more like paint finish than plastic.
Yeah. So this airplane, I put on these stickers from Cali Graphics, which were very nice. And so she says, you got to seal them. So okay, so I'm thinking I'll just shoot automotive urethane over the whole airplane. So I've never shot it over these iron-on films. So I talked to Jim Aaron, and he said, "Go ahead and try it. It'll work." And he pointed me to a product called. Let me get it.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, guys. I'm going to go shut my television off. I'll be right back.
You just got here.
I know. I'm just going to shut my TV off so it's not
okay.
in my ear.
That behind him on the wall. Make his window bigger, Sparky, so we can look at his guitars while he's gone.
Two in the back. One's a Yamaha. One's a Harmony or a Honer. I'm not sure which.
It's not an SG. I can't tell here. I just see that.
The 335.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
He's just some kind of a Jackson metal guitar he's got right here.
He probably plays all the strings too.
Yep. I hate guys like that.
Look at his clock in the back. I thought that was cool.
Like we were, Sparky made your screen bigger so we could look at your guitars while you were gone.
The hardest part about us with them fancy electric guitars at our age is getting into those platform shoes.
You don't find the leather pants the most challenging part?
I thought finding plaid pants would be difficult.
How you doing, John? John's kind of.
Oh, I'm kind of out of it. I don't know if I'll stay too long. Got sick here last night.
From all them kids slobbering on you.
Yeah, I think so. So I've got an upper respiratory infection and I'm working it out.
Oh, you sound terrible.
They give you anything?
Well, I haven't gone to the doctor yet. I'm taking NyQuil and Dayquil, stuff like that. Seems to help for a while, and then of course you got to go redo it like every med.
Is it in your chest at all?
Yeah, it's just right. Oh, you can't see it. Right there.
I had COVID when it first came out, when it was brand new. And it didn't get bad, but I just got the tiniest little bit of a tight chest, and it stayed with me for about a week and a half. Wow. I finally called my doctor, and he said, "Oh, go get the plain, simple, low power Mucinex. The white and blue package is 600 milligram, whatever it is, Guifostine, or I forget the name of the drug." And man, it was like magic. I took that within an hour. I noticed an improvement. So anytime I get anything in my chest, I pop one of those Mucinex, and it seems like it really fixes that up somehow.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I had somebody mention that I should get some, and I'm going to do it tomorrow. Go over to the drugstore and get some.
Yeah, the package is like white and light blue, or white and blue.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be here much longer. I just wanted to jump in. I was busy doing Santa things on last Monday, and I just wanted to come and say hi to everybody and hope you had a Merry Christmas and everything. So
you scared us for a minute there, John. You scared us. You said you're not going to be here much longer.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a second too. Now, I don't know if Jim's telling you that bulldog stuff will clear your chest out, or if that's for painting over ultra.
No. Which Jim are we talking about?
Jim Hoffman.
Oh, Well, Jim's he's not tall, but he's mighty little guy.
Hey, Santa, I must be on the bad list. You missed my house.
You didn't even get any coal?
Nothing.
Oh boy, you must really be bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, what are you using that for?
So I use that on monocoat or ultra coat, these heat shrink materials. I sprayed this stuff on, and then I shot automotive urethane on it. I roughed up the material with like 1,000 or 1,500 grit, and then I did some tests with it, and so I built a panel, and I sprayed, one part of it with the stuff, one part without, and so my experience was this had a small beneficial effect, but on my test panel, I had on this airplane, I've got some like striping tape made of vinyl, and that stuff crinkled. And I also use Sharpie markers for fixed little black things.
That made it
stuff.
melt.
And it melted the Sharpie too.
Look on the can and see if it has MEK in it. It'll be on the nasty gram at the bottom.
1 minute.
MEK makes everything better, doesn't it?
Not even, but it's good stuff.
I hear that's why all the fountain soda at McDonald's tastes better.
Ooh.
That was a joke.
It's got ethyl benzene and styrene.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
Has it got any xylene in it?
I'm not seeing that yet. It's not food, so they don't
Methyl
really
ethyl
tell you.
ketone tech.
Toluene.
There you go, toluene. Okay, so far we're going good.
No, I haven't. No MEK.
Well, then the thinner and it's not that hot. The toluene is the hottest thing you got in there so far.
Yep. Well, it very quickly smeared Sharpie marker on cover on this ultra coat. So I didn't use it on the airplane because I have that stuff on there. But I did some peel tests on the test samples, and it helped. But surprisingly, the auto urethane was held on pretty good to the ultra coat, better than I expected.
Just scuff it with some double-aught steel wool.
Yep, I did. I used sandpaper. I used 1,000 grit paper.
That's the mistake I've made, is not prepping it properly. But ultra coat still works pretty good on the monocoat, but I should have prepped it better. So some of it peeled off when I peeled off the tape, and oh well.
I tried. I even tried duct tape, and it tended to hold that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Something that disgusted me at one point, speaking of paints, was I'd used Krylon for years and really, really liked it. It always worked really well for me. So when I was working on a motorcycle and I changed the saddlebags and wanted to repaint them, so I just went ahead with Krylon. And the difference in the paint from when I had used it last, because of all the environmental stuff,
VOC.
Yeah, not the same product. And I went, oh man.
If anywhere on the can it says aromatic distillants, don't use it. It's no good. If it's non-hazardous, non-toxic, environmentally friendly, it's bullshit. So you got to have the stuff that has all the poison in it. Benzene, xylene,
Toluene diisocyanates.
yeah, got to have all that good stuff in it.
Skull and crossbones on the label, then it's okay.
Yeah.
If it's got
Death
skull
paint.
and crossbones on it, you're in there.
You're in there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just breathe out while you spray. Don't breathe in.
Yeah. Yeah. I was spraying car paint in the driveway, and my wife could smell it in the house, she said. Oh,
Tell her it smells just like her fingernail polish remover, because it does. It's acetone.
I can see it at the Nationals. You get 20 points in appearance, and you have your casket there. They put the award on top of the casket.
That's about right. I've got that way
Only
about
one.
sawdust. The balsa dust is hard on me anymore.
Yeah. You know, I was in the emergency room one New Year's Eve because of balsa dust in my eye.
Wow.
Oh my.
I mean, I was just sanding. I think I was on a belt sander or something, but I got it in my eye. So now
Keep your eyes closed.
Well, you've seen
Yeah,
my
that'll work
airplanes,
out
I
well
do.
for you.
I did.
How
got
I do it.
NCA in my eye one time. That was no fun.
Ooh, that's not
Oh.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happened?
You don't know Carl Levins, but the story behind his crazy eye is that he got CA fumes in it.
Oh, wow.
No, this wasn't fumes. I was still pretty young, living in my mom and dad's house. I had a wing on a Justo jig. You guys ever see one of them things?
Oh yeah.
I got
Yeah,
one
sure.
for sale.
I had it pivoted, and for some reason I had shear webs that stuck to the back of the spars, and I had the bottom glued, the top wasn't, and I had pried the top one back a little bit and was putting some glue in there, and that thing snapped out of my hand and splashed that glue up in
Oh,
my eye.
son.
It glued my eye kind of closed, and I kind of yanked it open, and basically like my bottom eyelash just stayed stuck on the top eyelid.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
And
man.
I got super lucky, no long-term anything, but apparently like it briefly, a hunk of that glue did get on my eyeball, and then the moisture cured it immediately. And the doctor said that I guess I freaked out and my eye was looking all over because it made some mild scratches on it was on the white part of my eye, luckily. But yeah,
Golly.
Yeah.
I had to wait. That was like a Friday, and I had to wait until that Monday to get to the eye doctor. My eye burned and burned and burned all weekend.
You were scared.
And yeah, I was young then. I don't think you know what I mean? I was kind of bulletproof. I still could go out, partying with my friends, and I probably had a girlfriend to distract me, and it wasn't as big a deal as you think.
I'll tell you, I
when
got
to
some
that eye
carbon
doctor-
fiber in my eye, and boy, it's still bothering me.
Yeah. They finally gave me some, not an eye drop. It was almost like the consistency of Vaseline, but for your eyeball. And as soon as he put that on my eye, that was the first time it stopped burning in 3 days. And it was like,
a
oh,
salve. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm careful around it. Well, now I think I'm lucky. I need reading glasses or whatever all the time. So hopefully, if I ever have that kind of a stupid mistake, it'll just shoot on the glasses.
There you go.
Really?
I got a chunk of steel in my eye one time and had to go in and get that removed. And that was okay. It was taken care of, and got it out of there. And I left the office with an eye patch on. So I was wearing glasses at that time. I also occasionally wore contact lenses. And so I get home and I'm going, all right, what am I going to do here? I can't get my glasses on over this eye patch. I don't really want to put one contact lens in particularly. So I'll just do what I need to do without, see how it goes. Well, I had a little project out in the garage that I was painting, rattle cans of spray painting. And I went out and I tried to work on that, and I had paint everywhere except where I wanted it to be, because I had no depth perception whatsoever, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't watch TV. God.
So there was a blessing to it. Couldn't watch TV.
Yeah, there is that.
Well, guys, we got kind of a full house tonight. I got a proposition for you for the first of the year. I think we're going to narrow these meetings down to one time a week instead of twice a week. What day is the best for you guys?
Monday.
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 Monday it is then. Because I know Steve Smith's, the original Steve Smith wants Monday. That way it'll give you time to say what you did over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
Friday nights people are
Good
getting
idea.
ready to go out.
Oh, one newbie question, guys. I've been actually back and forth between the website and trying to get back on Pampa, which I'm going to have to worry about later. And I never know exactly what time to start looking for you to have this up and running.
7 o'clock Central Time.
Always 7 o'clock Central.
That's it.
Okay.
9 for you, I guess.
Almost to the second, I would say.
Where are you at? You're in Oregon, right?
Yes. So it should be 5 o'clock for me.
Right.
Well, that's right. Earlier. Yeah, it's earlier.
Yeah, they were having it late in the evening, well, it was 6 o'clock your time and 10 o'clock our time
It's too late.
Yeah.
until, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, with my lifestyle, the way it
Lost
is now, I
nowadays.
could do that too.
How you doing, John?
Great. Nice to see everybody.
John?
Better to be seen than be viewed.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. Won't be no
100%.
viewing.
It's a great looking group tonight.
When would you have your prescription checked on your glasses?
One of the benefits of aging.
That is the one benefit of aging.
Yeah, you don't see everything.
Yeah. I think Junior's the only one that doesn't have white hair on his head. The
Yeah,
beard's
I hear
coming
you.
in that white though.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, Steve's just a kid.
It's only a matter of time.
How old are you, Steve?
52.
Oh, you're a kid.
52.
A youngster.
Enjoy it.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. I had ice packs on both my knees a little earlier. You guys couldn't see.
Oh,
Is that
In our-
supposed to make those of us who are close to 80 feel good about you being 52?
Yeah, nice try.
I guess yeah, I get the same. I play there's a couple guys older than me at hockey, and they kind of look at me sideways when I say stuff about feeling old. And there are guys a lot younger than me too, and they're 30 and say, "Oh, I'm getting old," and it's like, come on.
Yeah. That's why you hang out here, right?
It's
like
like
that.
that's one of the bright sides.
It's like the guy on my hockey team. He's a goalie and he had his hip redone and he's 78.
Oh my goodness. It's still ice skating?
Yeah, he's a Canadian.
Guess
Oh
he's
my
not a
goodness.
butterfly goaltender.
He's still playing. He plays goal too, which is harder.
oh.
Man.
I'm 78 now, and my situation is that I travel very short distances with a cane from one place to sit to another place to
Yeah.
sit.
That's it.
He's
So-
not playing goalie no more.
Well,
Yesterday,
that guy that's 78 that's playing goalie, he's probably done it all his life. He doesn't know that he's 78.
That's
Right.
amazing. I don't know how his bones can take it.
Yeah, he's got to get his knee done next. So
But how many times have been done in 78 years? 2, 3 times?
that's the first time I think that he's had anything done. He had his hip done about a year ago, and then he's getting a knee done next this coming year.
Them guys are tough as shoe leather.
That's exactly right, Robert.
Are they still gonna? Does he still think he'll be
Well,
able to play after
there's-
he gets his knee done?
There's so many guys that have Like I got a guy I think he's 80 now or within a year of it or something. He's had both knees redone. Like,
It's still ice skate.
yep.
That's remarkable, I think.
He skates around pretty good. I mean, he's not real fast, but he's kind of consistent. And so, you know, he's right up there. He's right around 80. He's
Well,
getting right.
they say old age and wisdom overcome youth and vigorism.
I heard it was old age and treachery.
Not in hockey.
I heard it was old age and treachery overcomes
Yeah.
youth.
That'll work too.
Youth and skill.
Yeah. Treachery skill, you know.
That's good.
I don't know.
Minnesota Mike says to Jim in his clear, you need to mist it on, not fog it on. Whatever.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I would just spray it on there and it'll be what it is.
The tooth's the deal. Sanding it's the deal. Getting that tooth in it too.
Yeah, first coat's got to go on like orange peel, like a stipple, and then you come back and lay a flow coat on it. That stipple coat holds it all on there.
I've heard that.
That makes sense.
It's different paint. In lacquers, you have a chemical bond.
Correct. And this
Where
is
in these
mechanical.
car paint things, it's a purely mechanical bond. It's
Correct.
different physics.
Right. So spray your first coat on as a dust coat, so it's stipply, and then after it tacks up, just before it tacks up, come back and lay a flow coat on it, and you're done.
Then it won't run the thinners. The thinners don't make it run as easy. You're saying?
That's right. That's what holds it on is that mist coat, the stippling.
I got champagne taste and Falstaff beer budget skills.
I had difficult time with car paint colors. My Lunar is painted all car paint, the dope base, then all the colors are car paint. And I just had terrible lifting problems the whole way through.
Really?
I've never had a problem with car paint yet.
Me neither.
You missed what he said. He's got a dope base and car paint over it.
That's what I do.
Yeah, well, if you want to do that, Jim, go to your local paint store and say you want to buy the pigment. You don't want to buy the paint. You go in and select your color and say, I want to buy the pigment to make a quart. And he'll sell you the pigment for 50 bucks. And then you take A1690 dope and add to it and spray it on, and there you got dope. Any color you want.
I think you're right.
That's what I do.
Yeah. My dilemma was I needed them to mix me. I wanted to match another airplane. So I brought the airplane in there and he started mixing. He put his scanner over it and mixed me some paint.
Call it profit.
Yeah. So no, you're right. I would next time I try car paint, I would do exactly what you're describing.
Or don't use the dope base.
Right. The only thing is if you got silk span, how are you going to get it to shrink with car paint?
I don't use silk span anymore.
Yeah, there you go. So if you got open bay airplane, you got dope on it, and you want to cut the color, you mix it like that.
So what other base would it be if not doped? Or you could use epoxy, I guess, would be the only other base.
And there's epoxy fillers, you got to get them all off. I mean, you got to sand it right down to almost nothing. And then we use we're using all European stuff. Joel Costantino, who does Barrett Jackson level restorations, he's found this European paint. It's De Beer. It's actually owned by Valspar, but it's European. And that stuff is just amazing. And they have a white sealer, and you spray that on, and then it cures. It's a it's a 3-part stuff, and it cures in a semi-gloss. So you dry sand and you look for any place where there's semi-gloss, and you keep sanding the airplane until it looks like a piece of alabaster. There's no gloss on it anywhere, and then you keep sanding until you can just see right through to the grain, but you're not to the grain. You can see through it, and then 2 fluid ounces of that paint does the whole airplane.
Wow.
2 fluid ounces does the whole airplane. Now that's thin, but still, you're not putting much on.
And you have good adhesion.
Have you weighed the airplane before
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
started?
we're putting 6-ounce finishes on now.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yep. It worked really good. It took a long time to get it down to that level. And you got to be careful with the clear too. You got to make sure you use the cheaper clear, because the cheaper clear doesn't have as much acrylic in it, and the acrylic that it puts the weight in.
So what are you putting over the raw balsa?
Over what?
The raw balsa.
You guys you're gonna cringe when I tell you.
Hairspray.
Nothing.
Hairspray.
Nothing. I put there's no covering on the airplane. I put 2 coats of Z-epoxy on, brush it on, heat it, and wipe it all the way off. Sand it, put another coat on the same way, which adds almost no weight. And then I go right to the primer, sand that all off, right down so just the grain is filled. Put that sealer on, sand it until it's translucent, then the color.
So what's the primer?
The primer is a 3-part primer from the De Beer.
All right, it's part of the De Beer system. Okay.
Yeah, it's expensive. A quarter of that paint is $400.
Okay, so you're just using Z-epoxy. That's your base, the Z-epoxy.
That's my base. Well, I'll show you. There's an airplane here that
I've used it many times. You told me that long ago.
let's see if I can.
Big Blue just had 2 brush coats of automotive clear, sanded off, and went straight to primer.
That airplane's done that way.
Wow, beautiful.
What that is?
That's a Muncie.
No, that's
No?
that's my
That's
home
not-
field.
I thought that was a cornfield at Muncie.
12 minutes from my house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jim, you think you painted it too soon before the dope gassed off by chance?
Just the opposite. The airplane.
You waited for a month.
It sat
Yeah.
for months. I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never had that issue.
I've never had it with a clear coat, but the colors were.
What brand are you using?
Mine was Omni.
Shouldn't really make a difference because they're all
No.
basically the same thing.
It was PPG. It's PPG. Yeah.
I'm
You can
surprised.
find that beer out there. That's really good.
No one else has the problem, but I sure had it. I had enough problems for everybody.
I called Richard Oliver one time and said, Richard, I'm so tired of building airplanes. I've made every mistake you can make building this airplane. And he started laughing at me. He said, Joe Gilbert, you ain't built enough airplane to make all the mistakes yet. And I said, dude, I need to find a new hobby.
Yeah. A friend of mine once said building a plane model is just a series of disasters.
Series of disasters.
It's a train wreck that just happens to keep wrecking in a positive direction.
Yeah. Every time I can do a step and not have any rework, I'm always pleased with myself.
Yes.
Happens
If you watch my live streams, I make the mistakes live and show them how to fix it. You just get used to making mistakes.
Yeah.
You got to make them.
It shows that you are human after all.
Yeah, I keep making mistakes and keep fixing them.
Yeah. But rework is so much harder than just doing it right the first time.
You guys should have been paying attention when I cut the stabilizer into the bottom of the fuselage. And see me how to fix that. All I did was cut a new notch in the top and then taper up the back and cut that space out like it never happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's nice about working in wood. You can really fix things in wood.
Anything can be
Just
fixed.
balsa. It's just balsa.
Anything can be fixed.
Yeah.
When he's a little boy, Daddy's building a Mong Sport. Of course, I was helping a real airplane. He said, Joe Mike, building an airplane's not a big job. It's 5,228 small ones.
Right.
We got 500 small projects on our model airplane.
That's the key to it too. It's not focusing on finishing the airplane. It's focusing on doing the next step perfectly.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And they got to be in the right sequence too. So the sequence is everything.
Yeah, sequencing is important. You never want to look to the end. You want to look to the next thing and just do it perfectly.
Yeah. As I'm going, I write down the steps. Next few steps I need to do. I write them down.
Yep.
And I think about them, and I come back and say, "Oh, I need to do change the order or insert something. And that way, when I walk in the shop, I'm in here a lot, but for little stretches of time. So you walk in, you know exactly the next step to do. You're not thinking about it. You just know what to do. And spend 10 minutes and then boom, go on to the next thing.
Well, that's the biggest problem with people building airplanes is they think that they're working. They go down in the shop for 2 hours, but they've spent 90 minutes looking at the bench. They haven't picked up a tool.
Right. That's right.
That's me.
That is true. I write things down. I keep records. I keep log books because I can't remember anything.
Well, the more you build airplanes, the more you build them, like Sparky does. And I built a lot. After a while, you don't. That's why you can build them fast because you don't have to think about the next step. You know what the next step is.
Yeah.
So you're not putting one thing down and saying, now I got to think about this next thing for a week. You think about it for 2 seconds and you're into it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I got it narrowed down to 3 projects: the wing, the fuselage, and the elevator stabilizer. And you got those done, you just put it together. That's the 4th project, you're done. Now you're on to finishing, which takes forever.
Yeah.
And the tank, and the engine alignment, and the tank alignment, and the motor mount in the right place.
That's all done in the fuselage step.
It is.
Yeah.
Robert, if you're going to build, I don't know, say a Goldberg shoestring, could you frame that airplane up, cover it, and have it ready to fly in 40 hours?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Easy 40?
Easy, yeah.
I think it'd take me 40 time I got it covered and doped and
Well,
ready to go.
I guess you forgot my 11-day Aries. That was all scratched.
Well, you can, but there's still 11 days. You can spend 80 hours, 11 days, real easy.
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take you to build that Navy on?
I think I put it together in about 3 days, and then the rest was finishing.
Does Vornhold have that now?
Yes.
A nice project.
How long take you to frame the wing up? 6 hours?
Shit, 15 minutes.
No way. You can't get the pieces out of the box in 15 and
Oh yeah. Go watch the video.
It wasn't a stamped out model then.
Yes, it was a kit.
It took longer than that just to pop the ribs out of that top flight kit.
All you got to do is go back and look at there's a Navion section and see how. I think it's only like 5 videos long.
Is
5 hours, yeah. And then the rest is finish. And that was a simple, quick finish with clear dope and red. That's it.
Did you ever fly in a Navion?
No, I haven't.
I did. That was a nice airplane.
I've been in the back seat. I never was in the front.
Nice airplane.
Good old North American.
You ever see a twin Navion?
Yes, absolutely.
I was actually thinking about a twin Navion, for a stunt. That would be kind of
Hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just change the tail and the canopy on what you got and it'd be close enough.
Well, I'd sketch it out, Mark hasn't said a word. What's up, Mark?
Oh, just got back from 5 days in the mountains.
You sound like John Miller sounded. You got a cold?
No,
You want one?
no thanks.
I gotta go. I'll see you in a week.
Be good, Jim.
Right,
Good,
bye-bye.
Jim.
Bye, Jim.
Take care.
Monday nights, remember? Look at that.
So I spent the day finishing my cowling on the
I thought you
Bearcat.
were giving up airplanes and building walnut bowls now.
Well,
Balsa bowls.
it could, yeah. I think I had this glued up before I went to the mountains. And Sparky, I made one of your little tools here. This is handy to have.
Yeah, but it's not quite S enough to measure around big stuff. Let me show you. But it looks good. I mean, it's the
Well,
right.
it's good for the cowls that I build, so.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe this one here is a little more exaggerated as far as the
Yeah.
this distance here. But yeah, that's right. Works good, don't it?
So
Yeah,
how do you,
so-
I can envision that you want to measure the thickness of something and compare it to the thickness on the other end, or how are you using that?
Well, you have to be careful when you make it so that you get each end
Both
comes
ends have
together
to
exactly
touch.
at the same time.
Right.
And then you put one end inside the cowl and squeeze it till it touches both sides.
And then
And then you
measure the
can
other side.
measure on the other end what your dimension is.
So you're ready to start carving violin tops next.
Well, it probably works for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
When you want to look and know what the thickness is of something. Anyway, this, like I said, Sparky, I saw this a couple of weeks ago and you just showed it. And so I went ahead and made one.
Cool.
Yeah.
And here's
Well
my
done.
here's my balsa wood bowl all ready to turn. This is the way I had it just before I went to Keystone last week.
I have to comment on how wonderfully well lit that looks in that room there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told you I got new lighting, right?
Yeah, that's why I was saying I was kind of.
You don't find that putting a wood turning tool on that balsa wood chunks it out?
It does some. I was experimenting today and I was trying all kinds of different speeds.
Probably using just rough sandpaper would do the job, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what the way I ended up doing most of it was I used the chisels to start, and that took most of the wood down, but it left a lot of
Tear out.
fibery places because it kind of tears the balsa more than sanding it away. And then I did the final finishing with sandpaper.
Yeah.
So here's the inside is finished. And
Cool.
again, Sparky, you asked me if I did the inside first or not, and last time I didn't do the inside first.
Right.
But I realized if I had that tool, if I had a good reference out here, then I could tell exactly where I was. Whereas if I turned this down first, then I wouldn't know exactly where. I have to go back and look at the blueprint each time I made a measurement, try to figure out what the thickness was supposed to be, and then see if I got it. So this worked better. So I went ahead and finished it. There it is.
Wow, look at that.
Cut it off.
Nice.
There's the backside.
Wow.
And here's my Bearcat waiting for it. And I taped it on just to see what it looked like. So it fit pretty
Of
well.
course you did.
I was pleased. So
Yeah.
Here, here.
that's what I did today, what I finished today. So I'll glue it on tomorrow and cut out the canopy opening and finish the hatch for the engine compartment. And I'll be ready to start putting the finishing resin on it.
Yeah. Very nice.
Well, guys, it's our time. Let's see, where did Junior go? Is he still there? Yeah, he's still there. This is the time that I end the YouTube program, and we go to a live stream. Let me end the program here. Come on, there we are, and we got to go back here, and this is so complicated to do. It's ridiculous. And go there. Drag this down. So please, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we're going to be on every Monday night from starting the first of the year. I'll put an announcement in Stunt Hangar. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you tomorrow. Fairwinds,
It's
tight
the
line.
end of an era.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Big
y'all.
moment.
Hey, is
gonna
Gary
go
still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this nice calendar today in the mail. So
Oh.